Guys, I thought it would be a fun little thing for me to fill out my DFS lineup live here on camera for week 1. I've already got it picked out. I'm going to go through all the guys that I love playing, daily fantasy, whatever. I'm not sponsored by FanDuel or DraftKings or anything like that. The reason I'm using FanDuel is because I think I was on DraftKings and it locked me out of my account or something like that. So either way, guys, I'm just going to go through. This is like a $5 enter, $3 million. That's how much money we can win. That'll go to my castle mansion. But so we're just going to fill this out, and I've got my picks ready. So guys, for the quarterback, the best value, and I know a lot of other people have said this too, it's going to be Jalen Hurts for $8,000 overall. Jalen Hurts, great matchup in a dome in Detroit. He's got A.J. Brown. He's got Devontae Smith. He's a guy also rushing ability. If you're starting him in DFS, you're crossing your fingers. You want that rushing touchdown. You want 60 rushing yards. Very, very high floor for Jalen Hurts in week 1. I'm expecting a lot of points to be scored in this game. I'm going with Jalen Hurts. You can see someone like Kyler Murray. That's going to be a high-scoring game. You know what? Maybe I do go Kyler Murray because I filled out my lineup and I have $200 left over. So I could technically go Kyler Murray and be fine and not have to change any of my other lineup. We will come back to this. Kyler Murray, it's very close. You're splitting hairs with Kyler Murray and Jalen Hurts, but I'm going to go with with Jalen Hurts. When it comes to the running backs, this is where I really like to stack my RBs. So guys, I'm looking at Christian McCaffrey. He is the best running back in fantasy football. It's not even close. He's an auto, 25 points every week that he is healthy, and he's healthy week 1 against the Cleveland Browns. My only concern for Christian McCaffrey is with Baker Mayfield, maybe his target share gets reduced a little bit because Baker likes throwing the ball down the field more. This could be a lower scoring game, but just based on volume alone, Christian McCaffrey is great value. He's not even the number 1 running back. He's number 3. And the only reason why he's not going number 1 overall in fantasy drafts is because of the injury concerns. When you play daily fantasy, those completely go away. It's one game. So Christian McCaffrey is my first guy. My second running back is going to be Deandre Swift. And guys, the reason it's Deandre Swift is partly because I think Deandre Swift clearly has a high floor, but I also love the game script. Imagine Philadelphia goes up early, Jared Goff is dropping back, he's throwing a lot of passes, a lot of checkdowns. Deandre Swift, great pass-catching running back out of the backfield, great volume. And especially PPR points, it's going to be phenomenal for Deandre Swift. I love the value of Deandre Swift over James Conner, over Nick Chubb, who's going to be completely game planned against because the Browns are starting Jacoby Brissett. So that is my second running back. You guys can see I'm really loading up solid RB1s. And then when it comes to receivers, this is where it gets a little bit more deep. The first receiver I am going to go with is going to be Amon-Ra St. Brown, so another Detroit player. And the reason it's Amon-Ra St. Brown, very similar explanation. I think Philadelphia is going to be up in this game. I think I've got the final score at 35-24. Amon-Ra St. Brown, there's no Jameson Williams. He will get a lot of targets, a lot of overall volume if Jared Goff is throwing the ball 40 times. We understand Amon-Ra as a 4th-round rookie last year, late in the year, developed great chemistry with Jared Goff, and you're talking about throwing the ball a lot in the second half to a possession receiver. This is a guy that doesn't even need a touchdown. He could have 10 catches, 125 yards, in my opinion, if the game script goes how I expect it to go. So he is my first receiver. And then, of course, you do need to find a deep sleeper, someone that's very low value so you can make up for it at other positions. And that guy, to me, it's going to be Sky Moore. And this is just a gut feel with Sky Moore week 1. Yes, he is a rookie. Yes, they do have Travis Kelsey and Juju Smith-Schuster getting targets. I understand all of that. But I've just got a feeling that Sky Moore in a dome, possible shootout game, you know, maybe 30-plus points for the Chiefs. He could get loose on 1 or 2 deep balls. And I like Sky Moore to be a big time sleeper as a rookie week 1 for Patrick Mahomes. Higher scoring game. It's going to be interesting. Of course, you got to pick a sleeper. And then when it comes to my number 3 wide receiver, this is a very tough choice for me. I have a feeling, I have a vibe about Rashard Bateman. And guys, the reason for it, Lamar Jackson, the whole contract situation, I just feel like Baltimore is going to come out and be pissed, and you're going to have Lamar maybe throwing for 320, 330 passing yards. Yes, they have Mark Andrews, but their running game with J.K. Dobbins, he's still returning from injury. I'm just feeling Rashard Bateman having a big day, Lamar Jackson having a big day. This is a very tough pick for me, and this is a make or break point in my lineup because I really like Devontae Smith with Jalen Hurts. Maybe stack those two. Adam Thielen maybe. If, you know, they're facing the Packers, that should be a competitive game. There are certainly other receivers to look at. I'm normally not high on Rashard Bateman, just as a fantasy player, like for the season-long leagues. It's something about this situation where Lamar Jackson wants to prove himself as an elite passer. He's heard all the people saying he shouldn't be the highest-paid quarterback, things like that. You know, I understand Mark Andrews is there, I get it. But Rashard Bateman, not that I love him this year, but week 1, I think it's a unique situation where he could really go off. So he is my number 3 receiver. And then for the tight end, I am going with Travis Kelsey. Travis Kelsey has an absurdly high floor this season with no Tyreek Hill. You're looking at 15, 20 points minimum per game. Again, in a dome, higher scoring week 1 matchup here. Cardinals versus the Chiefs in Arizona. I've got Travis Kelsey. I have no issues paying the $8,000 for him over Mark Andrews. Originally, I was going to choose Darren Waller. I love that matchup, but the hamstring concerns me, especially when you're playing daily. You don't want to have one injury nuke your whole, lineup. So I will take Kelsey. I also love George Kittle this week, but not week 1. Not at Chicago. I do not like that matchup. In Chicago, normally games are traditionally very low scoring, and you've got a team traveling West Coast to East Coast. Don't love it. I am fine with spending the money on Travis Kelsey. You're looking at a minimum of 20 points from McCaffrey and Kelsey, in my opinion. That should make a great, overall base for my lineup. And then for the flex, actually, let's go defense first. So the defense that I like, it's actually going to be the Washington Commanders. And I understand the Commanders were not a good defense last year. They've got Chase Young, they've got Chase Young still injured. But when you look at the overall matchup value for the minimal price that the Commanders have, they're at home. They're facing the Jaguars. Trevor Lawrence should be better, I guess. But I'm still expecting Trevor Lawrence on the road week 1 with a still pretty limited offense. I'm expecting multiple turnovers. I'm expecting a lower scoring close game. So I'll take the Commanders defense. Maybe they get a random rogue, pick 6, which would be crazy. But when it comes to picking defenses, you're just looking for a team that's at home facing an offense that can be prone to turnovers. So that is why I think the Commanders offer decent value. And then my flex, I am going to be choosing, I believe I'm choosing a tight end here for my flex position. Yeah, so I look at this, and actually I have $0 left. So Kyle Pitts, to me, I know it's a tight end for my flex. It's just the best value. You've got a guy like Drake London who still is a little bit banged up. Love the overall value of Kyle Pitts. He's their number one weapon. Expect New Orleans to be up in this game. Mariota doesn't throw the ball a ton, but he can still facilitate a good day for Kyle Pitts, in my opinion. You're looking at 10 to 12 targets, and I just think it's crazy good value. I mean, look at A.J. Dillon. A.J. Dillon, who's not even the starting running back for Green Bay, is worth more than Kyle Pitts. That is crazy to me. Elijah Moore, it's tough against a team like Baltimore. I don't know how Matson is worth that much, Mac. So yeah, to me, that's just Kyle Pitts is such great value. If you guys are on FanDuel, if you're on FanDuel for the price in week 1, where they're probably going to be playing catch up, I think Drake London should play. You've got Cordero Patterson, but he's certainly going to get a good enough target share to make him worth starting. So this is my overall lineup for this week. With Jalen Hurts, I do like that play a lot. I like the overall floor. I think he's a minimum 18 to 20 point guy. That's worst case scenario. Best case is maybe he gets a few rushing touchdowns. McCaffrey's just such great value overall. You've got Deandre Swift, hopefully a lot of catches out of the backfield, along with Amon-Ra St. Brown. If Detroit is playing catch up, I would love that for that to be the case. Sky Moore is kind of my wild card. Maybe he catches a long, deep touchdown. I like the overall upside he presents, and you go lower on him and also Rashard Bateman so you can get a guy like Travis Kelsey and also Kyle Pitts. Rashard Bateman, it's just a weird feeling I have week 1. You know, they invested a first-round pick on him last year. Lamar Jackson is trying to prove something. That is why I like him. So this is my overall daily fantasy lineup, just something fun to do for week 1. And looks like the total entry fee free is $4. So maybe I'll win the $3 million, guys. Who knows? But this is just for the 1 o'clock games and the 4:25 games. But that is going to do it for this video, guys. Make sure you're following me on Twitter. Link to that's always in the description. I'm, of course, the Depressed Ginger. Thank you for watching.